Hi there, and welcome to Yoga and You Anywhere. Today we're going to do a light class just to give you a little to help you open up and start your day, and it can be for beginners. And I'll also give some cues that can help to build up a little bit of heat for you as well if you are a little bit more advanced in your practice. And you can always use these tools in any class that you go to help build up heat, and you can always take it down a notch as well, which is one of the wonderful things about yoga and one of the themes for class today, which is surrendering to the messages from our body. Um, One of the things that yoga teaches you is to listen to your body. We are not encouraged to practice any posture whenever we are feeling too much pain, too much stiffness, and it is strongly encouraged for us to pay attention to those moments and to take our knees down if we need to modify the posture as we need to be able to make it to where it is available for us. Each day, postures are going to be different, and each day we are encouraged through our practice to find what is available. And as we continue to practice, the beautiful thing is generally more does become available. The hard thing, though, is that as more becomes available, we can go to practice one day and be able to practice one posture in a deeper way and then come back to our mat the next day and it might not be as deep as it was the day before, and we can kind of get caught up in our heads through that as well. So allow yourself to take a step back when needed. Sometimes the shoes we wear or the hikes we might walk the day before really have a lot to do with how we're going to be able to practice the next day. Different things that go on in our lives as well, emotional things affect our practice as well. So the great thing about yoga and the practice of is that it meets us where we are each time we come to our mat. Our our part is to listen to our bodies, to listen to our minds as we're coming into our practice so we can find what's available to us and not push ourselves into places that might not be good for us on that specific day. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This month, December 2020, I am working through with my classes with the Lotus Mudra, so I'm bringing that into class today for us. The Lotus Mudra brings the pinky and the thumb together, and then the fingers open up nice and wide. This is actually one of the moving mudras, so as you breathe into it, you can close the fingers in on each other and then take the fingertips down, letting the wrists and the back of the hands come to each other as well. And then you can come back up. You get to decide how you breathe in and out of this moving mudra if you choose to move it. The nice thing about this is it is going to help lubricate those fingers and those wrists. And so this is a great mudra for people that have arthritis and things like that because it just helps you get everything kind of moving. Um, it's a wonderful mudra as well for moments in our lives when we are feeling depleted, when we are feeling that our cup is no longer full and we have nothing more to give. And so this mudra helps us to replenish. It helps us to find that gratitude and that joy and connect to that so we can have more compassion, so we can have more love to give. So allow yourself to think about that as we're here, reaching the crown of the head to the sky, setting tall and strong. Now, when we set in our practice, we want to try to align the shoulders over the hips, the ears over the shoulders, reaching the crown of the head up and the sits bones down towards the ground, allowing yourself to breathe deeply in and out through the nose. And remembering that that mudra can move if you choose. And we'll slowly bring those hands back together. Drawing the chin down towards the chest, letting the back of the neck stretch out. We'll inhale, bringing the head back up, grabbing onto the front of those shins, the front of those knees. Inhale as we pull the heart forward, drawing the shoulders down and back. And exhale, roll to the back of those sits bones. Let yourself hang from the knees. Inhale, pull forward, shoulders down and back. Exhale, roll it back again. And one more time, deep inhale, pulling forward, shoulders down and back. And exhale. We'll slowly come up to sit up nice and tall, taking those hands down beside the hips and lengthen the legs out in front of you. Now, when we lengthen the legs out in front of you, it's very common, especially if you're a beginner or if you do have some limitations in flexibility, for us to sit kind of on the back side of those sits bones, right? And it feels normal for us when we lengthen our legs out, but we really want to try to get to the tips of those sits bones so we can find more length. This is going to help open up that lower back, the hips, and the hamstrings a good bit. So allow yourself to bend those knees a lot if you need to. Keep the toes pointing up to the sky and push those heels down towards the ground. Also, with the energy of the legs, act like you're trying to take them further apart from each other. So a little bit of energy comes into the bottom of the feet, and that's going to help keep the legs active and strong and give you that foundation. From here, we're going to reach up with the arms. And if it's available, we're going to clasp the hands together and reach the palms up without letting the shoulders creep up. Reach the palms up and take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. 2 more times. And 1 more time. And on the exhale here, let yourself squeeze into that left side body. Be careful that you don't start leaning in one direction or the other. Just squeeze into the left side body. 2 more deep breaths. The legs are still active and strong. The right hip is still pressing down to the ground firmly. 1 more deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale, coming back up, palms facing back to the sky, and then we exhale to the right side body, squeezing the right hips towards the right ribs towards the right hips, reaching those palms up. And 1 more deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale, coming back up. And this time we'll exhale forward. Push the palms towards imaginary walls, right? We're outside, so I'm pushing my palms towards the sky. But allow yourself to just push the palms and keep the back long. Pull the belly in and up. Deep inhale. And exhale. Then 1 more. And then you can come further forward if that feels available. Remember, you can always soften those knees if you're feeling a lot of tension in the back of those hamstrings. That's going to be what you're going to want to do. Find where it feels available, and you can round out the back now if that feels good. If you are able to, try to keep the back long as far as you can as you come down, right? This will help in increasing that flexibility when we keep the back long. It's going to facilitate everything else starting to loosen up, okay? Deep breath here. And then if you did, or if you were able to keep the back longer, go ahead and allow yourself to round it out a little more. Maybe soften those knees a little more, relax those legs a little more. And then we'll slowly come all the way back up. All right, bottom of the feet will come together here into our bound angle, grabbing onto the bottom of the feet, squeeze those knees down. Think about trying to get the back long once again, trying to keep the chest expanded. So a lot of times we'll try to grab onto the feet and we'll kind of roll the shoulders forward to be able to do so. Think about squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other and keeping the chest open and strong as we come down, even if you only get to grab on the front of the shins or the front of the ankles, right? If we can't actually reach for the front of those feet or the top of those feet, that's okay. That's the great thing, remember, about yoga is surrendering to listening to our body today, allowing ourselves to pay attention to what feels available, rooting down through the sits bones, lifting up through the crown of the head, finding length through the spine. 1 more deep inhale. And then we'll exhale coming forward, right? Again, keeping the back long as we can, keeping the chest nice and broad as we can. And then if you like, you can again round out the back here a little. Slowly coming back up, we'll bring the knees up, and we're going to come all the way to child's pose here, okay? A lot of times, this will be people's favorite pose to come into. I was actually just told that yesterday. People are sometimes very thankful to come into child's pose, especially after we've had a few challenging poses, right? So we put those feet to the heels. You can take those knees a little bit further apart from each other, or you can keep those legs together. That's going to be your choice, seeing what feels available today. Allow yourself to bring the hands to the mat and reach those arms out, and allow the head to hang, right? Now, if the head doesn't touch the mat, that's okay. You also have the option of taking those arms all the way behind you. Allow yourself to breathe deeply here. Slowly coming back forward into a tabletop position. So in this position, we'll take those knees hip width apart, right? Make sure to look at the knees and make sure that they're below the hips. A lot of times people will keep them a little bit too close together. So from here, the hands come underneath the shoulders, shoulder width apart. And we're going to allow ourselves to pull the belly in and up and try to keep the back long. If you can, look at yourself in the mirror. A lot of times people will sit a little bit like this or even a little bit hinged into that lower back, right? So pay attention to how the body feels. And if you can get a mirror to look at your long back, go ahead and do so. That will help you with your practice. You want to keep a long back here as we pull the belly in and up and keep the elbows soft, right? So slightly pull the bottom of the hands back towards each other. This will add a little bit of a bend in the elbows and help to keep them lined up properly. We're going to lengthen out that left leg and that right arm. Deep inhale. If the leg feels like it can lift without hinging into the lower back, allow yourself to lift up that leg. Exhale. 2 more. Exhale, remembering to keep that left elbow soft, chest nice and wide. Exhale to come down. As you come down, take the right hand down. Bring the left knee into the belly, again, without letting the lower back cave in here. You don't want to round out the back. Bring the knee in towards the belly as much as you can. And then we're going to do circles to the outside without trying to let anything move. Try to keep the hips as stable as you can. 3 circles to the outside. We keep the belly pulled in and up. And then 3 circles to the inside for 1, 2, 3. Coming all the way down with that left knee. Send that right arm back out to the side this time. And then exhale, take that right arm underneath the left and allow yourself to stretch out here. If the head doesn't come to the mat, you can have a bolster or a blanket or a block here just to help facilitate you here, right? We want to reach that right arm and we want to allow ourselves to enjoy the stretch. So if it feels kind of tense, allow yourself to modify. Coming back to center, back into our tabletop, right? We pay attention once again, getting ourselves situated as we lengthen out the right leg and the left arm. Remember, you don't have to go any further. This can be how far you go. You can even bring that left hand back down, or you can see about lifting that right leg up. Exhale, 1. Exhale, 2. Exhale, dropping that left arm down and pulling that right knee in towards the belly without letting the back round out. Circles to the outside for 1, 2, 3. Opposite direction, 1. Trying to stay grounded and strong, 2, and 3. Coming back down with that right knee. Left arm to rise out to the side and left arm to come underneath the right. Oh, reaching through. Maybe that right arm comes up. Maybe that right arm comes to the sacrum. Find what feels good to you in your practice, and don't be scared to change it up a little, right? And one more. Coming back to center. From here, we're going to take 3 cat-cow breaths. So nice deep inhale, head up, belly down. And exhale, pull the belly in, roll the sits bones towards the heel. 2 more times. Inhale, head up, belly down. Exhale. And one more. And exhale. From here, we're going to tuck the toes in and we're going to build up to our downward facing dog. So downward facing dog, we tuck the toes in, we push the hips up, and we press the palms, the hands, as though we're trying to scrub them towards the top of the mat. We press into the bottom of the balls of those feet as though we're trying to scrub to the back of the mat. This helps us to keep those hips lifted and those armpits open. Exhale. Slowly come back down towards the knees. And as you come down to the knees, try to land lightly. All right? So we're going to exhale, come into child's pose. Inhale, come up, tucking in the toes. Exhale to downward facing dog. Deep inhale here. Exhale, coming down to the knees, nice and soft. Pushing back to child's pose. Inhale, come up. Tapping in the toes, exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, and exhale, slowly come back down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, come up. Exhale, downward facing dog to hold. 2 more deep breaths. Keep those hips lifted. Take the palms of those hands as though you're trying to draw them closer together. Exhale, soften those knees. Inhale, start to walk the feet forward. And exhale, bow to the legs. Inhale, forward and up. And back to center. Now I'll advise to have a block on either side of you, just in case the flow that we're doing today is a little bit out of your range of flexibility. The blocks will help you to help assist as we're going into this. So we're going to come into some low lunges today. We're going to get started in our mountain pose, and then we're going to come back into our nice side bend. So take the palms of the hands and reach them up to the sky. Now this time, we're going to exhale as we squeeze into the left side body, right? And then we're going to root down through that left leg, and we're going to soften that right side. Okay. And then we're going to root down with the right side and soften the left side. Notice the difference. Notice how this intensifies the stretch of the right side body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale to the right. Squeezing into the right side body, right? We're going to root down through that right leg first and soften that left knee. And then we're going to root down through that left leg and soften that right knee. Again, noticing the difference. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, out to the side and down. Inhale, out and up. This time, exhale, forward fold, softening the knees as you need, right? The knees will soften as you feel that lower back start to pull. Now, inhale, take the right leg back for a nice low lunge. Dropping that back knee down, maybe flattening out that back foot if that feels available. Blocks on either side here will assist you as we inhale to come up. You don't have to come up if it doesn't feel available. If it does feel available and it still feels a little tight, you can take a block or your hands to the top of that front thigh to gently press away to find a little bit more length in that left side body. Exhale, 2. Exhale, come all the way back down. Right hand will come to the mat and left arm will reach up. Now, or a block, right? You can have that block right here. That left hand can also come to the top of that left thigh and gently press into it to help with that twist. Try to keep the chest nice and open still. Exhale, 2. One more. Exhale, come back down. Deep inhale here. Remember those blocks are available. Exhale, and I want you to push into that front foot to extend that front leg. Right, we're going to try to come straight back and not let our hips sink out to the side. Inhale, take the bottom of that front foot, drag it back towards you, flexing that front knee. Exhale, push back for 2. Inhale, pulling forward. Exhale, push back for 3. Awesome. Come back forward, tuck in the back toes. We're going to send that left leg back for a plank position. Again, soften those elbows. Pull the belly in and up. Take the tailbone, slightly draw it towards the heels, and think about dragging the balls of the feet towards the palms of the hands, and the palms of the hands towards the balls of the feet. One more deep inhale. Now remember, you can always come to the knees here, taking the elbows to the back, chaturanga. Inhale, lift, upward facing dog. You can always come to cobra here instead if it feels a little too tight today. And then exhale to child's pose. Deep inhale and deep exhale. 2 more. And last one. Coming back up, tucking those toes in, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale to soften the knees. Inhale to step the feet forward. Exhale to bow to the legs. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back to center. All right, we're standing firm and strong in our mountain pose. We're going to take those arms up again and clasp the hands together and reach the palms up. We're going to do a little different here. Instead of our side bend, we're going to come into a heaven and earth stretch. So the heaven and earth stretch means that we're going to twist to the left. Now, as I twist to the left, notice I'm not letting the hips and the knees move with me. You twist to the left and you take the palms as you flex, as you forward fold and reach those palms to an imaginary source and come all the way around, still trying not to let those hips and knees get into the mix. And inhale up through the right side and back to center. Inhale here. Exhale to the right. Roll it down all the way. Opposite side. And back to center. One more full cycle. Deep inhale. Exhale, twisting to the left. Roll it down. To the right. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale to the right. Roll it down. Inhale up through the left. And then exhale out and down. Nice deep inhale out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left foot back. Dropping that back knee down. Finding your foundation, and then inhale, coming up. Exhale, 3. If those hands can't touch, that's okay. Exhale, 2. You may even consider coming back into that mudra. Exhale, coming down. Left hand to that block or the mat, right arm up or to the top of that thigh. Exhale, 1. Exhale, 2. Exhale, 3. Coming down, both hands on either side of the foot. Inhale, pushing back, pushing the bottom of that foot towards the front of the mat. And then exhale, pulling the bottom of that foot back towards you, front knee back on top of the ankle. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. And 1 more. And exhale, tucking the back toes in. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Soften those elbows. 1 more. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, child's pose. Maybe even give yourself a little pat on the back here. Go ahead and walk the arms to the left. And then walk the arms to the right. And then back to center. Inhale, coming back up, and we're going to find our way to our bottoms. Okay. And we're going to gently roll all the way down. I'm going to actually turn my mat a little so you can see a little bit of that side angle, right? Slowly rolling down. If you have a ponytail in, you may want to take it out here. All right. Rooting down through the back of those hips and the back of those shoulders. The hands will come down by the hips. Right, nice deep inhale. As you exhale, push the hips up towards the sky for your bridge pose. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, slowly coming down. And let those knees sway from side to side. Right. Slowly we'll come back to center. We're going to pull the right knee in towards the belly. Here we're going to grab onto the shin if that's available. If not, we'll come a little bit higher up, or we can even try to go underneath that knee if this feels a little too intense. For instance, make sure that you're still able to get nice and loose in those shoulders as you're pulling that knee up. We're going to lengthen that left leg out. Take a nice deep inhale, pulling the belly in and up. And as you exhale, roll up as though you're trying to touch the nose to the knee. It's okay if it doesn't touch. Inhale to come back down. Exhale for 2. Inhale. 3. Inhale. 4. Inhale. And 5. Inhale. This time, exhale to hold, okay? So we roll it up, and for 5, 4, pull that belly in and up. 2, 1. Inhale to come back down. Hands down by the hips and the right leg to the sky. Don't worry about how stable you are here. That's a different kind of practice. We're going to make as big of circles as we can. So if those hips move along the back and we're massaging that lower back as we're doing this, extra points, right? So allow yourself to do 5 circles in each direction, and then 5 circles again, right? 3, 4, and 5. Slowly come back down. And I want you to lengthen that right leg out. And this is always fun. That one of the things that I like to do in classes, especially for people who find themselves to be really tight, you might notice a big difference here in the front of the hip bones. So for right now, my right hip bone, for instance, feels a whole lot smoother than my left hip bone. And you'll notice after we do the other side and you get to do this again, that both of them seem smooth. And it's just really neat to be able to see how yoga affects the body and different movements that we do throughout the day. For instance, if we hold bags or we hold things on our right hip all day long, that's going to affect our body. So it helps us to become more mindful and try to transition those things to the opposite side from time to time so we can find a little bit more balance off the mat as well as on the mat. Come back to those knees bent. Right. Nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, push those hips up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more. Exhale, slowly come down. Let the knees sway from side to side. And then we'll bring that left knee into the belly, hugging it tight, lengthening that right leg out. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, try to touch the nose to the knee for 1. Inhale down. Exhale 2. Inhale down. Exhale 3. Inhale down. 4. Inhale down. 5. Inhale down. And then up to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back down. Hands beside the hips. We'll lengthen the left leg up. Big circles to the outside for 1, 2. If you feel little crunchies or even hear little crunchies, that's totally normal. And allow yourself to maybe toy with turning the leg outward or inward. That might help. You'll notice, oh wait, that crunchy went away. 3, 4, and 5. Coming back to center and lengthen that left leg all the way out. And once again, maybe you take those hands to the front of the hips and notice how they're both smooth now. From here, we're going to allow ourselves to find our Shavasana, right? Shake out the body, shake out the hips, and shake out the shoulders. The head. Allow the belly to rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. Allow the attention to draw inward and everything else to fade away. Slowly we'll begin to bring ourselves back, wiggling the fingers and the toes, rotating the hands and the feet in one direction and then the other. Bringing the knees up and take the feet to the outer edges of the mat and let the knees sway from side to side here, really helping yourself stretch out the front of that hip socket. As you lean towards the right hip, take the weight to the inside of that left foot and then push that left knee towards the front of the mat. And then opposite, rolling to that left hip, taking some weight to the inside of that right foot and pushing that right knee further away from you, really finding more space. I love, love, love this stretch. It feels so good. Lower back, front of the hips. And then slowly bring your knees up. Maybe make little circles in one direction and the other direction. And then you have a few options, or a couple options I'll give you here. You can roll to the right side of the body. Allow yourself to find stillness here for a few breaths. Or you can roll up and find a nice little spinal rock here. Your choice on which of those options you come to. When you're ready, you'll slowly find your way back to a comfortable seated position. Okay. Take your time to get there. This is always your practice. The nice thing about the video is you can always pause it and take a longer Shavasana, and also just skip past all of this if you're not into Shavasana, right? And we'll get comfortable with our shoulders aligned over our hips. We'll bring our hands back into our lotus mudra. I invite you to come back to that theme of our class of surrendering to our body's messages, allowing yourself to pay attention. This goes for our bodies and how we move them. It goes for the emotions that our bodies are going through, and even goes for external influences towards our bodies. So you may notice sometimes when you get into certain areas that you feel tense. For instance, if you get into a room with a lot of people or around certain people, you feel your body tense up. Paying attention to these messages helps us to create boundaries with these things and brings us into a healthier state of balance. So allow yourself to be mindful of that as we come to a few more deep breaths here. And slowly we'll bring those hands back together. I'll finish our class today with an Om. You are welcome to join me. I'll start with a deep inhale, exhale, beginning on the second exhale. Inhaling with me now. And exhale. Inhale for Om. May you think with clarity, see with clarity, and speak with clarity. Namaste.